Hi friends! New series on this channel. I'm gonna call it LastDrops. I've been thinking over and over how can I preserve the necessary diversity and the kind of review nature of most beauty channels while introducing more accountability, more healthier options and comparisons to things that are out there and the things that we feel tickled and pressured to buy. And also inject more of a kind of a reality check to how much of perfume we actually use, because sometimes I think we tend to kind of lie to ourselves and think that we need more than we actually do, or we use more diversity than we actually do enjoy or find not overwhelming to have in terms of diversity. So this is what I'm going to do. I am going to talk about, I think, monthly or maybe seasonally, about all of the used up samples, bottles, all kinds of perfumes that I came across, the decants that I bought or were sent to me. I will do like a kind of rapid reviews comparing them to everything that I had and tell you my final buying decision. Am I actually going to buy a bottle, or maybe show a bottle if I already got it, or say what I think is better than this, and this is why I'm not going to buy it, or if I don't like it, if it's not my cup of tea, I'll tell you either way. I hope you're excited about it as I am, because at the end of each video I will also provide summary stats, kind of in style of, Project Pan in the beauty community, of how much perfume I actually faithfully used up during that period. I'm thrilled. I'm like so excited to start doing this practice. I hope you too. And if you feel inspired, include your lists of empties and tried on and whatever opinions that you have about the perfumes that we're going to talk about today in the comments down below. I'll be waiting for your feedback, not so patiently, because I love reading your comments, guys. You're the best. All right, I feel like I was not blinged enough, so I added some rings, added some coffee. Get ready for some hot takes. As they say in the bloggers world, all opinions are final for now. Alright, I used up two 2 ml samples of Shipper Mojo by Parler Moi de Parfums. The brand is owned by master perfumer Michel Almayrac. He created like a bunch of things, like he created a bunch of Bond Number 9, Chloe, bunch of the Chloe Little Bow fragrances. Like he's like really well established and well known. So he decided to create his own kind of like side gigs, his own brand where he can experiment. And Shipper Mojo attracted my attention because it was a mango shipper. I really wanted a fruity, juicy, a little rebellious shipper that felt very young, that felt very cheerful and kind of like hooliganist a little bit, and this is exactly what it is. Oddly enough, it also has this kind of sparkly and almost rotting fruit flavor to it, which I don't mind because I have a mango tree in my front yard at my neighbors, and like every time when they start falling off the tree, that's exactly the sweet overripe mango smell. This is exactly what it is. I love it for summer, I love it for spring, I love it for any time I want to feel cheerful and I want to almost like get that sparkly soda on me without really drinking and consuming any artificial flavors or sugar. So Mojo Shipper, definitely a hit. So I used up 4 ml and I got myself a full-size bottle. A very happy find secondhand on Mercari. If you really, 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 really need it in your life, send me a message. It's not online, but if you need me to put it online, I will, and you can get yourself a decant as well. So definitely I recommend. Final decision is super fun, contemporary mango shipper. In comparison, I like it more than Courvoisier, Angel, whatever, the mango by Terry Mugler. I like it more than Mango Skin, way more than Mango Skin by Wilhelm Perfumery. yeah, all the mango fragrances I've tried were very syrupy and very sweet, and this is actually feels alive. It feels flirty. It feels vibrant. Next, Hot by Givenchy. It was a hit of sales in like early 2000s, and this is essentially one of those quintessential early 2000s syrupy raspberry syrup kind of profiles. I was very thankful that my subscribers sent me a little sample, and again, if you want to hear my opinion on any perfumes, feel free to send me a sample. The address is always down below in every video description. But to be honest, when it comes to raspberry syrups, I would rather prefer it to be like as part of some kind of alcoholic cocktail type of concoction. You know, I want it to be boozy or sparkly and fizzy, just like Mango Shipper, right? Like it's sparkly. In this case, I didn't love it the same as I did when I was much younger, back in the early 2000s. And my version of raspberry syrup that I already have in my collection is Fifth Avenue Royale. This is more like an old-fashioned with made featuring raspberry syrup. This is deep, this is boozy, this is such an underrated gem in kind of more an affordable area of fragrances. This smells way more expensive than it costs, so for me it's a no-brainer. No, Hot Givenchy is dated. It's done, not gonna come back to it. 2 ml of Velvet Mimosa Bloom by Dolce & Gabbana. It's their boutique line. I actually do own a bottle of it, and I regularly decant small portions and just put them everywhere. I put them in my car, I put them in every purse, I put them in every pocket, so I always have something exciting and something interesting to smell if I find myself bored or, you know, stranded, traveling somewhere or waiting for something. So I made this decant myself, for myself. I used it up with great pleasure, and I am here to confirm this is still the best zesty yet powdery green mimosa scent that I've ever found on the market. Unfortunately discontinued, so the only way to get it is from me or, you know, pay the extra money for collectible and discontinued items if you can find it online secondhand. I don't know anything better, and I do own Mimosa Pour Moi. I do have a bunch of other mimosa related decants. Paris Monte Carlo, I have mimosa by them. It's fine. That's all I can say. It's fine. Nothing to write home about. Nothing compares to the Velvet Mimosa Bloom by Dolce & Gabbana. I don't know how, but this is one that was kind of like an undercover, unique niche floral that they had in their line that just beat all other mimosa scents on the market. Love it, love it. Will continue to wear it. So happy that I used up a little bit and kind of like that I still utilize my collection despite of its enormous size. Some of you who've been with me for a while know that I am big on using body products by perfume houses. That allows me to become more familiar with fragrances with much cheaper price, and also kind of use things up and go through those olfactory journeys a little bit faster and a little bit more kind of recyclable fashion. So one of the things that I've been trying is a variety of Hermès shower gels, and the one that I finished is On Jardin sur le Nil, the Gardens of Nil. And I must say, it was fine. I do like all of Hermès in their shower gel line, because they're somehow, to me, this is like a full size. For me, they're more wearable, they're more enjoyable in their shower gel formulations than in their, you know, the Gardens line. I can't wear it as a personal perfume, and I will continue probably to keep buying Hermès shower gels. And one that I actually like more than the Gardens of Nil is Eau d'Orange Verte, which is a nuclear bomb. If you buy it in Eau de Parfum or the Cologne version from Hermès, it pretty much burns my taste receptors. It's too nuclear. But I love it in the morning hot shower. It's just such an amazing way to wake up. I love it. And I find that it's a little more zesty, a little more bright and vibrant than the Gardens of Nil. So I think I'm gonna stick with this one and might even try a few other ones. But Hermès is definitely a hit. Not, I don't think I'll go back to that particular shower gel. I will just continue with this one. I lamented about it in a number of social media posts and videos by now, so some of you know. I have finished a whole bottle of my favorite lilac scent. This was like 10 bucks in some Russian drugstore, and I got myself as many backups of it as I could. This is Brocard. It's kind of like a Demeter type. It's like a very experimental but affordable fragrances that have their headquarter in Russia. And they came up with these like natural florals, like the Waters line, and they came up with ingenious lilacs. This is, to me, is what lilac is all about. Like, it just literally smells like lilacs after rain. And I used up my last backup. I don't have any more of it left. I am aggrieved because I have no way of getting more at this point. And the only option that I'm surviving on, which is probably 10 times more expensive, is En Passant by Olivia Giacobetti for Frederic Malle. And I dare say this is not better. The Romantica by Brocard is actually more believable lilacs than this. And I kind of feel silly using, because lilac is my kind of creative workout scent when I need to put together choreography or where I really need to feel inspired. That's where I scent anchor myself on lilacs. It kind of feels silly to put on a $300 perfume just to sweat it all out in 15 minutes. But this is what I'm going with for now. I have ordered a bunch of lilac scents, not so surprisingly, so watch out. A huge review of lilac fragrances is coming soon. But for now, Frederic Malle, because I can't get a replacement and I am not that impressed. It's good, but it's not $300 good. Finished up 5ml by Tiziano Terenzi Vela, which essentially is very green fig scent. Green fig has this very recognizable green yet fruity profile. It's very refreshing, and it's different enough from what we usually consider fresh, which is either oceanic or citrusy. So if you're looking for something refreshing and you kind of don't want to repeat the same pattern with colognes, look for anything that contains green notes and fig. So Tiziano Terenzi is a good one. It's on the sweeter side. I enjoyed those 5ml, but I gotta say, still, you cannot beat Philosykos by Dyptique. Therefore, see like how much I've already used up. You can't beat that. And I had both eau de parfum and this is eau de toilette. I prefer the water formulation. So Philosykos wins all the way. Thank you to Tiziano Terenzi, but no. I used up a whole bottle of Histoire d'Amour 2 by Aubusson. It was a license on the Aubusson, I think it's a fashion house, that they kind of gave a license to use their name. And these are fairly generic and very cheap perfumes that, however, come in very beautiful bottles, if you like the kind of like romantic Art Nouveau style. I do highly recommend them as a decor items, and when it comes to them being fragrances, I've got two. One that I actually use as a personal perfume, which is Histoire d'Amour. And I did have the body line as well. I'm not that impressed, it's not well formulated, but I do highly recommend original Histoire d'Amour. It's a beautiful green floral. When it comes to their sequel, Histoire d'Amour 2, it is essentially a powdery watermelon. It's weird. Cheerful, simple, a little bit weird. I'm not used to watermelon-y scents being powdery, because when you think about watermelon, we will be thinking about cologne. Cologne is a molecule that pretty much created all of the aquatics, including, I have it for the reference, Davidoff cool water. That's what I usually think of watermelons, is this like watery, aquatic, watermelony scents. for them to be powdery, it's really bizarre. So this is like fresh plus watermelon plus powdery notes. It was very interesting, but not interesting enough. It wasn't deep enough for me to wear as a personal fragrance. So I used it as a linen spray and I use it as a room spray. Thank you very much. It was wonderful. I think I paid like 14 bucks for it, but I'm not gonna go back to it. I have like a battery of oud samples that I'm working through, and I took even more with me when I went to Istanbul, Turkey, because I felt like once in Middle East, you know, you gotta pull out some ouds. So the 3 2 ml samples that I finished was Majda Bekkali Ziryab. It was Micallef Royal Rose Oud, and that was Karloff Royal Oud Intense. So the Royal Rose Oud by Micallef I have in full-size bottle, and Ziryab I have by Majda Bekkali I also have in full-size bottle. I just made myself decants and went with them. The truth of the matter is I still passionately in love with these versions of ouds because they're very Europeanized. They're very easy to wear. They're more like, the oud here is more like old books and dry wood rather than something medicinal or animalic or, you know, nose drilling. So this is kind of like tulip green watery notes plus oud, and this is sweeter with a rose, kind of, I would say rose water. Both are beautiful, both are very wearable. I am absolutely ecstatic to continue wearing them. So these two just prove that I do wear what I buy. Karloff Royal Wood Intense was kind of underwhelming because it was just like yet another moderate oud. Moderate oud, that's all I can say about it. Nothing to remember, nothing to write home about, so no. And yet another oud, another reason why I'm not considering buying full bottles, because I have a new oud to try, which is Flores Honey Oud. Thanks so much to my subscriber who sent a bottle to me to try. Curious, I kind of do enjoy Flores bottle design. I find it to be very elegant and well made, and it's not excessive as some other brands. It's kind of cool. So I do have like a box of oud related fragrances and samples, and the weather rarely gets dry enough in Florida for me to enjoy oud, to be honest. I haven't found a way to wear oud in humid weather to enjoy it really, but maybe soon. So far I'm just going to continue with what I have, and I'll call it a day. I have plenty. As part of my journey enjoying winter rose scents, and I hope you enjoyed that video, I really enjoyed making it, and it seems to be like fairly popular, so if you haven't watched it yet, highly recommend. I finished up Tiziano Terenzi Porpora, which is powdery, kind of chocolatey, wonderful, deep, powdery rose scent. I am in love with it. I do want Porpora on my shelves. However, I also have kind of piney, powdery, and very elegant Portrait of a Lady by Frederic Malle by Dominion Rubion. And this is just as beautiful, and I like the packaging way more. I am not a big fan of Tiziano Terenzi packaging. I actually really don't like it at all. And given the price tag and the fact that I already have 100 ml, this is gonna last me a lifetime. I'm gonna stick with Portrait of a Lady, though Porpora is gonna be like on my kind of further out wish list. If at some point I get it as, you know, somebody wants to give me a gift, or if I find it secondhand, you know, for a really affordable price, for sure I recommend. But would it really beat Portrait of a Lady by Frederic Malle? Nope. Almost lost an opportunity to wear Amouage Lilac Love because this decant was standing there for way too long, and when I realized it, it was almost completely dried up. But I did take it with me this October for traveling, and I did enjoy wearing it in Istanbul. And Lilac Love is this super duper sweet powdery lilacs. Not really appropriate for me as a workout scent. It's too sweet, in my opinion. I wouldn't wear that to the gym. But it's one of those darlings from Amouage, kind of like the Christopher Chong era of Amouage. It's loved equally by the super fans of Amouage who really prefer the Arabic style of blending, and the more kind of, if you like Elisab perfumes, if you like something sweet, powdery, if you like Flower Bomb, if you like La Vie Belle, all that good stuff, Amouage Lilac Love is a darling in that sense. And I had a decant before, years before, and I didn't like it at all. I couldn't really relate to it. I think I'm warming up to sweeter and sweeter and sweeter and sweeter, almost syrupy scents. I'm really working hard trying to understand the appeal there. So I actually did enjoy wearing it in cold weather, but I dare say I do enjoy Jil Sander Style more. Also creamy lilacs, but this one to me is much sexier in a way that it's more well-rounded. It's less cloying, it's less annoying, it's less needy. That the sweetness here is so fluffy and so romantic and so lightweight that you kind of keep pulling your nose toward it rather than feeling, oh, okay, that's a bit too much. All right, take a break. Settle down, chill. And this is why I do dare say this, even though discontinued, but it used to be fairly affordable, designer scent is superior, in my opinion, in how it wears and how it makes me feel than a very, very expensive Amouage. Actually, I like it so much that I got myself a second bottle as a backup. But then I kind of mentally looked over and kind of counted how many hundreds of bottles I have in my collection, went through the whole, 7 stages of grief and 5 stages of shame, and decided, you know what, I'm gonna put my money where my mouth is. I am giving away 5 ml decants to as many of you as, are first come, first serve to get this from this bottle. I'll leave a link below. You just add it to your cart and you use the code COZY24. As long as this product is in your cart, the code will work. You can also throw in a bunch of other things if you want to try something from my collection. I have a lot of rare, collectible, and discontinued fragrances. But anyway, this one you can get for free. I'll send you the 5 ml and you tell me if you think it's actually well made. I keep fighting this battle that smelling good doesn't have to cost that much. And also that the branding sometimes is almost deceiving, like believing in Francis Kurkdjian brand or Elisab or this or that or Lancome or I don't know, Narciso Rodriguez. That's all good and great to know what kind of perfumers or brands you can rely on, but there are things like that nobody talks about that actually are fairly affordable if you can find them, because this is limited edition and now it's discontinued. Nevertheless, this, I dare say, smells just as good, it's just as well-rounded and as wonderful that any of those expensive creamy lilacs from the niche brand that cost 2, 3 and yada yada hundreds of dollars. Here it is. I'm willing to bet my reputation on it. Click the link, use the code, get yourself a decant. 5 ml should last you, I think, a month. And you let me know if you agree or disagree. All right, a few mouth-watering rarities. Christian Dior Midnight Poison, sent to me by a subscriber. She asked me what I think of it. I do get what the hype was about. For those of you who might not be familiar, Midnight Poison is a flanker, a limited edition release of, well, it wasn't limited edition at the time, but it's surely discontinued, of Christian Dior Poison, and that one was less tuberosy. It was smoother, sweeter, and in a way softer than the original Poison. It was not as annoying, it's not as cloying, it's not as vibrant. And it was such a darling. Then when it was discontinued and Poison Girl was released instead of it, it caused nearly like wars. It was caused like such a collapse in perfume community. People were in disbelief that Midnight Poison would be discontinued in favor of that nuclear waste concoction called Poison Girl. Not because Poison Girl is unwearable, everything is wearable, that's released to the market, to mainstream. Clearly it passed, the Walmart group study tests, but it's just, this is such a beautifully woven romantic perfume that it's just weird in comparison to Poison Girl. So yes, I do get it. However, I do own Yves Saint Laurent L, their eau de parfum, which I got in London because it is apparently a European release, and it's not that easy to find it in the United States. You can find it in Canada. A lot of people buy it from Canada, and in certain online stores it's available, but nevertheless, those of you who live in Europe know that this is kind of like unique to your market. Yves Saint Laurent L, to me, in spirit, and it's very close, I wouldn't call it a dupe, in spirit repeats the same story of Midnight Poison by Christian Dior. So if you are desperately looking for something that somehow brings the same feeling, I would say the romantic fruity floral rose by L, that is so well rounded, so smooth. It's just, it's a perfect balance of everything. It's sweet enough for those of you who like gourmands, but it's not syrupy at all. This is what I would say the golden age of designer perfumes, and to me it is 2010s. That's what this is all about. Beautiful perfume. I'm so glad that I have L. I am considering buying a backup eventually, but I'm just kind of like stopping myself right now because I still have plenty to go. And another rose that I finished is very vibrant and I dare say cheerful, Serge Lutens La Fille de Berlin. The same story. It's jammy, sweet, slightly Bulgarian, kind of like sour sweet rose. Wonderful in all regards, and I keep getting these like impulses to buy its limited edition from Serge Lutens, but I do have a more niche and more powerful and longer lasting and very intricate Une Rose by Frederic Malle, which is now reformulated and repackaged as Rose Tonnerre by Frederic Malle, but it's essentially the same scent. And again, this is like 100 ml, guys, all right? It's not going anywhere anytime fast. So I am making a decision that La Fille de Berlin by Serge Lutens takes a second place to Une Rose Tonnerre by Frederic Malle, and sticking with the Frederic Malle one. I said so, and that shall be. Alright, 2 ml of Chanel 19 Poudre. It's one of those kind of librarian scents that so many people love by Chanel. I did wear it, I did enjoy it, was not thrilled, to be honest, not quite my profile to me. This is too melancholic and mediocre, as I find majority of Chanel scents. They always remind me of something else, something that's slightly watered down, well balanced but watered down. So Chanel Poudre is just 19. It's okay. Again, all Chanel scents, with exception of Gabrielle, which that just stinks. All of the other ones are fine. They're fine. They're just not worth the price. I love the bottles, the classical bottles of Chanel, and that's about it. The one that I find very similar, that I started enjoying because I was trying to make peace with Chanel 19 Poudre, is Molinard de Molinard. And this, oh my god, look at this bottle though. Look at this bottle. This is just such a beautiful bottle design. I was surprised to discover that Molinard de Molinard seems to be discontinued. It's nowhere to be found. So if you really need me, I can put a decant online. I have plenty. This to me is everything that Chanel 19 Poudre has and extra. It has the GTs, it has more of these like super powdery yellow florals. This is so elegant, and this is to me a little bit more posh, I dare say more posh than Chanel 19, and a little bit more vibrant. It's like sunny day in Milan if you are wearing a Chanel suit. So Molinard de Molinard to me is a far superior version, and Chanel 19 Poudre, fine, it's fine, not gonna buy it. Another rather hard comparison, I hope I'm not gonna step on so many toes in this one. Thank you so much to my subscriber who I called it out in some video, and she sent me Mortal Skin by Stéphane Humber-Lucas 777. I am in love with several of their scents, and one of them is called Mortal Skin. I tried it when I was on a business trip back in the day in London, in Harrods, and I was just, this is such a beautiful floral leather scent. It's so smooth, it's so elegant, it's like everything you want a feminine, elegant, classy leather scent to be. To Mill, gone in a flash. I am in tears. I really want it. I want it so badly. And yet I feel guilty and I'm not gonna buy it. I use up another rarity and like very expensive dupe for it that is way more, way older, and it has way more pedigree actually. It is Serge Lutens Dame Blonde. I do have one or two backups of Dame Blonde, I'm not gonna lie. And that is also a beautiful, floral, elegant, juicy, yet leathery scent. It's just a paragon of elegance. And after a close and long comparison, I think I'm signing my own death warrant by saying this, but I like Mortal Skin more. I said it. If I could, I would swap them. Yep. But I feel so guilty because this is so rare and this is so expensive now. If they didn't, Serge Lutens didn't quite discontinue Dame Blonde. They repackaged it into their Belle flacons, Belle bottles, and it became like $300 or $400 a bottle. So this is their older formulation, which, you know, it's so travel friendly, it's so purse friendly, it's just such an elegant bottle design. Love it, love it, love it, love it. But I genuinely do prefer Mortal Skin. So those of you who are not lucky enough to have Dame Blonde like I am, you are lucky enough to buy a superior, smoother, and even more elegant version of floral leather scent, which is Mortal Skin by Stéphane Humber-Lucas. You win either way. I win because I have a rarity, you win because you can buy a superior option that's available on the market. I used up 8 mil. Look at me working hard. Jil Sander No. 4. The famous eau de parfum, which is essentially elegant, semi-sweet tuberose. Jil Sander No. 4 is what I call glamorous. They are akin to the golden age of J-Lo, you know, and Charlize Theron. It's just gold upon gold, lusciousness upon lusciousness. I would say that Jil Sander No. 4, Lancôme Poema, I would say Classical Lalique, I would say Bottega Veneta Knot, all these luscious, gorgeous, sweet, usually white florals where everything is just like a huge bouquet of tuberose, gardenia, jasmine, rose, everything is in it. And she with her like huge beachy waves, and she's covered in shiny highlighter and gold upon gold and rings, and earrings and layers and layers of jewelry and paillettes and and crystals and sequins. She put everything she had at once. So these are flamboyant, kind of Sophie Loren. I'm thinking about Sophie Loren in a way. When I'm thinking about these kind of fragrances, they are just so vivacious. Loved it. Jil Sander number 4 is definitely a great example of that era. However, as I said, I already have Bottega Veneta Not. I had to repackage it in a 2 different bottle because the original bottle broke. And by the way, Bottega Veneta Not turns out is discontinued, and now it got this cult status of one of the most glamorous white florals that's no longer with us. If you want, because I already had to repackage it once, I'm super duper happy to split the bottle with you because this is kind of a rarity. It's discontinued. If you want me to, please DM me or leave a comment and I'll post it on my factory shelves. But if nobody cares, I'm super happy just to keep this rarity to myself. Anyway, as I was saying, I have a bunch of options like that. Lilacs, I have Bottega Veneta Not, fruity, vibrant florals that are just almost over the top, vivacious. So I don't feel the need to buy Jil Sander number 4. However, if you're looking for something like that, this fragrance has a lot of historical value. That's what brought Jil Sander on top of global perfume sales for 5 years in a row historically. So this scent definitely has pedigree. It has historical and olfactory value. It was copied so many times. I would highly recommend you familiarize yourself with it. I am not going to buy it for the reasons I already outlined. I have plenty of options. A quick carousel of empty bottles. I finished Zara Home Green Herbs Linen Spray, which I used as a room spray. Damn! Zara makes some really good scents. Good stuff. So for those of you who just love this format, whatever that is, I use it as a perfume, I use it as a room spray, I use it as a linen spray. They just make cheap, elegant, simple, think Jo Malone, but for 10-15 bucks. They make good stuff. They have really good people who are buying scents. I mean, obviously they're not making them themselves. Big chemical labs like Givaudan, Firmenich, and yada 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 are making those, almost pre-packaging those scents for Zara. But Zara still has a buying power and kind of a marketing and olfactory aesthetics decision-making power, and the choices that they make, the things that they bring to their shelves are really good. Highly recommend. So instead of going to Bath & Body Works or Victoria's Secret, hit Zara, look at what kind of sprays they have. Judith Leiber Night, heavily recommended as an underrated gem by a lot of bloggers. This is a romantic, sweet floral. To me, that was a flop. I used it just as a kind of deodorant spray for shoes and whatnot, to be honest. Boring, flat, almost chemical. I don't get it. I don't get it at all. So that's gone. And a Caron Paris, which is a historic French perfume house that, in my view, kind of lost its footing lately. I haven't seen anything that was truly punchy from them on any level. I tried their kind of more classical scent. This one is called Fleur de Rocaille. It smells like an old lady to me. That's what in my mind is a smell of an old lady. These are just really dusty, kind of moldy florals. There's something about I think the use of patchouli here that is just so dated. It just doesn't really translate. Some of the older scents, like Chanel No. 5 is one glorious example. They do reformulate Chanel. For those of you who didn't know, the Chanel No. 5 of today has almost nothing to do of how it smelled in the 50s or the 60s. And yet, there are some profiles that are intentionally nostalgic almost antique in a way and vintage, and they work. This I would call an example of vintage that just does not work. It just looks dated. It does not translate to modern life in my view. So Fleur de Rocaille I also used up as just kind of like a space deodorant essentially. I used up 5 ml of Dupont Vanilla Leather. I do own their scent, which is Noble Wood. I really, really enjoy it, and to me that one is a dupe of a much more expensive Night in Doha scent by Stephen Humbert Lucas. So Dupont has some scents that are really amazing dupes for more expensive scents, but I must say Vanilla Leather was a little bit boring to me. It's okay, it's exactly what it says. It's kind of, to me, it's almost more of a tobacco scent than leather. It's vanilla with black tea. That's what it smells to me. And when I started thinking about like, should I not? Because I always feel like I don't have enough leather scents in my collection. But then I thought that I remembered that I have Franck Boclet Tobacco in my collection. And that is as simple and user-friendly Franck Boclet fragrances are, they still contain that necessary realistic depth that I expect from niche fragrances who are marketing simple scents. For example, if you call a scent tobacco, I want a niche tobacco that is so believable but yet not too simplistic that it justifies the price tag. So for me, if I am looking for like a black tea / tobacco, semi-sweet tobacco scent, Franck Boclet is where it's at. So I would rather use that. And another really good example that to me is more leathery is, it's hard to find, but I'm going to show you anyway, simply Jil Sander, and it's a flanker that's called Touch of Mandarin, and I had their Touch of Leather, which was even more leathery, and I loved it, and I gifted it to a friend of mine who has an exquisite taste in perfumes, and he was like, give it to me, it's discontinued. I was like, all right, you can have it. So I only have Touch of Mandarin, but Touch of Leather by Jil Sander Simply is also a great, elegant leather option that has a little bit of this tasteful sweetness. So Dupont Vanilla Leather, thank you. I used up 5 ml. No need to repeat the story. I used up 2 ml and 5 ml of modern, fresh, mineral, seaweedy aquatics. First one is by Serge Lutens, and I just made myself a 2 ml decant. This is Dans le Bleu Qui Pétille. I love waters by Serge Lutens. Used up 2 ml, nothing bad to say. It's just, again, a proof to me that I make good purchasing choices every once in a while, and I do use my own collection. And again, for me, I hope it's helpful for you too. This is the way to utilize your collection and have kind of a stress-free variety of scents around you at all times. For me, buying a bunch of small travel sprays and filling them with fragrances from my collection is the way to keep it fresh, have a diversity, and almost like rediscover your own perfumes. That's great. It's also very useful to have a whole bunch around, because when friends or people ask me what I'm wearing, I can always show it to them, and even if I feel like that, give them a little sample, because otherwise where would they even learn to find this? Nowhere, except from my channel, right? Anyway, the 5 ml of the other one that I used is Tom Ford Costa Azzurra Aqua. This is their blue bottle version. Oh my god, Costa Azzurra by Tom Ford comes in 50 shades of bottles. Blue bottle, eau de toilette bottle, I think it comes with eau de parfum bottle and the parfum bottle, and they're all different designs. It's very confusing. I love Tom Ford Costa Azzurra. That said, it's a weaker dupe of the original, which is Amouage Beach Hot. I finally caved in And ever since Beach Hot was discontinued, I got myself a full-size bottle. You can get yourself something to wear for a month. I think 5 ml decant, if you can get it from me, will last you for a month. And you can make a purchasing decision before you shell your hard-earned money. To me, Costa Azur is cute, very similar to Beach Hot, but not deep, not interesting enough compared to Beach Hot. This could be a whole video, but I will try to keep it short. Musky roses. Oh, there are so many, and there are like thousands, I feel, on the market, and I myself have probably 10 of them, if not more. So a few that I used up. I can't find the spray anymore, but I remember what it was. It was a Yves Saint Laurent blouse. It's one of those iconic, slightly bitter, musky, sour, sweet rose scent. It's like more sour and bitter than it's sweet. Beautiful scent, a must-have for so many people for so many years. However, I do find that so I used up 2 ml. Another 8 ml that I used do just the same job, if not better. This is Valentino Rosę Verde. I used up 8 ml and bought myself a full-size bottle. It is sadly discontinued, but I love the bottle. And this is a green, fresh, zesty bergamot musky rose. This is so refreshing, so beautiful. This is so green, fresh, and beautiful. To me, it was an essential in my mornings when I was staying in Vienna. It's just such a good balance of notes. I find that this is a little bit more wearable than the blouse by Yves Saint Laurent. And again, if I was making this video a couple of years ago, it would be way more affordable, but now with its discontinued gem status, you kind of have to hunt for the bottle yourself, or, get yourself one from me. So if you want one, send me a message, we'll figure something out. Another one that is kind of in the same realm, I used up 2 ml of Hermès Eau de Pamplemousse, their musky green rose cologne by Hermès. It was okay. Nothing to write home about. I don't think it really stands out in the crowd of musky green roses. But definitely, yeah, this is definitely a winner for now. Since we're on the topic of roses, quick mention, 2 ml I used up French Leather by Memo Paris. I have a soft spot for Memo Paris as a brand. I do adore some of their fragrances, but I only have one bottle, which is Quartier Latin, which is now discontinued and also has like a collectible status. When it comes to French Leather, I had their full-size body lotion, which I thought would work better for me, but it was kind of meh. I was kind of disappointed in how the scent translated in their body cream. So I got myself a sample of French Leather. I thought maybe, eau de parfum actually what it's supposed to be like, and still left underwhelmed. This is kind of, to me, a green leathery musky rose, but if you're looking for something like that, why not get yourself Rose Cuir by Frederic Malle, or to that end so many other rose scents. So French Leather is a no for me. I'm not going to be seeking that fragrance further. Neither I will be seeking Hermès Rose Pamplemousse. I will not be buying Yves Saint Laurent blouse as well. All of that is a no. Last but not least is Room 1015. I used up 8 ml of their Sweet Leaf, a fragrance that is dedicated to pot, to marijuana. I loved it. Loved it. Despite my snobbery, despite me not being a big fan of this whole concept altogether, I loved Sweet Leaf. This is essentially the way that they are woven this kind of marijuana smell into it is fresh, zesty, bitter grapefruit. And the weed gives this more of like almost a minty, aromatic heart to this scent. I adored it for the morning. It was just like, it was that kind of Italian citrusy cologne with a punch, with a little bit of like a good joke woven into it. I loved it. and I am in desperate need of a full-size bottle, and I will be searching for one until I find it. Meanwhile, the two weedy perfumes that I have to kind of give you a comparison is Kilian's Smoke for the Soul. I hear it is discontinued, at least not that easy to find, which is, again, a very telling name, Smoke for the Soul. This one I find is very close to the Sweet Leaf by Room 1015, but not as punchy and citrusy. Like grapefruit in Sweet Leaf is just mwah. It just adds this super vibrant, almost like I got thirsty just remembering this smell. Smoke for the Soul is more melancholic, is more refined, it's a little bit more, I dare say, elegant. If a perfume that smells like marijuana could be elegant, that would be Smoke for the Soul by Kilian. And a third option, which is even more niche and even more of a powerhouse, I'm kind of afraid of spraying it. That is Ganja by Comme des Garçons. Whoa. Oily, heavy, rich, deep. It's so concentrated that I don't feel like it's safe to wear, because I think people will definitely think that you've been packing a few kilos of buds right before you stepped out of your house. It is quite something. I don't know what to do with this, because I definitely am not going to wear it as a personal perfume. It's way too powerful. But those of you who really like deep, oily scents that also have a little bit of this kind of pirate rebellion in them, Ganja by Comme des Garçons, if you can find it, that'll knock your socks off. Woo! The oiliest and the heaviest and the most representative of the oiliness of marijuana is Ganja. The most elegant, dry, grassy, vetiver-y marijuana is Smoke for the Soul by Kilian. And my personal favorite, youthful, fun, contemporary, juicy, is Sweet Leaf. This is so good. This is definitely going on my wish list. And that is a wrap. Thank you so much for staying with me. I am curious if you tried any of these perfumes or their alternatives. Any seductive dupes or variations that you would suggest I try. If you want to challenge my nose, you are super welcome to send me a blind test. The address is down below. If you want me to share my personal take, opinion, or analysis of any particular perfume that you're passionate about, you hate, you love, or you're just curious what I have to say about it, you can also send me a decant. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that was useful. And if you did like it, you feel free to buy me coffee or subscribe as usual. I'll see you in the next video.